Look, if you're a professional bike rider, I guarantee you this is not the video for you. This video is not breaking down every single little stupid thing about an e-bike. What I can tell you is that if you landed on this video because you're potentially going to buy a $500 or $600 e-bike because you want something cheap that's going to get you around the block and you don't want to waste your money on something that really, really sucks, I got you, fam. What's up, YouTube? Jason here with Byte My Bits, and in today's video, I am talking about the Oraimo electric bike Monster 100. Now, if you're a regular on this channel, you know that I like to yeet myself into situations that I don't fully understand, and e-bikes are not the exception. But that doesn't change the fact that I wanted an e-bike. Why did I want an e-bike? It's because I wanted a ride. I wanted Luna to chase me, and I didn't actually want to work for it. Enter the e-bike era.
Hey, little herding dog, don't bite me.
Now, Oraimo, or however you say their name, the Monster 100 e-bike sent me this e-bike for testing. I happen to get an e-bike with fat tires and a bigger motor and actually the same size battery before that e-bike, so I reviewed that first. Spoiler alert, I got rid of the other one because this one's better and it's cheaper. So even though I'm not the professional e-bike reviewer, let me tell you a little bit about what I learned about this bike and why I prefer it over something that was literally twice the price. Okay, twice the price is kind of an exaggeration. It's really only $200 or $300 more, but anyway, let me tell you why I prefer this one, even though technically it's cheaper and lower powered. It still has a 36 volt, 13 amp hour battery. However, it comes with a fast battery charger. The last bike I had only 2 amps. This one puts out 4 amps. So right out the gate, it charges faster, which is a win for me. I like that. What I don't like is the fact that it has a little pansy motor that's only 350 watts. Or at least so I thought. Now, since I had the fat tire bike and this bike at the same time, I did little 1/8 mile test, 0 to 20 test, just to see how fast it was. What I found out is that the bike that costs less money, that has smaller tires on it and a smaller motor, is faster. Like very much faster. And the fat tire thing was meant for like off-roading thing. And I mean, come on, I'm lucky I'm on the concrete, let alone going off-road. So I prefer thinner tires. Although I will admit that I did make a sacrifice with the front suspension because those shocks are not as cushy as they were with the fat tire, but that doesn't matter because it's faster. 0 to 20, that's like the speed limit. If you buy an e-bike, it's 20 miles an hour. That's the top speed that it can legally do in order for them to sell you an e-bike. This one does 0 to 20 in about 12.9 seconds with a fresh motor. However, I think that's a lot to do with the fact that it's a 350 watt motor that can peak up to 500 watt, as long as it's not overheating. Okay, it's not actually overheating. Let's just say before the motor is warmed up. I ran this test like 15 times, and by the end of the test, it was running considerably slower, somewhere around 2 seconds slower per 0 to 20 each. Now I did the 1/8 time, and it was like 39 seconds versus the fat tire, which was actually 40 to 41 seconds. So it wasn't actually that much faster in like the 8th time, but the 0 to 20 was much faster, and I can tell you right now, it is noticeable. The thing is, this bike only weighs about 48 pounds. It can carry up to 309 pounds, and it's got so many gears that if you really want to pedal, you can, although I don't recommend it. But you got like a little speed switcher thing on the right-hand side, but you have gears on both sides. And if I'm being 100% honest, I did not find that the gears right out of the box, because it's like 85% assembled when they ship it to you, the gears right out of the box are just not perfect. Takes a little bit of adjustment, or you might knock your chain off every time you go to, shift. But that doesn't matter because I'm lazy and I want an e-bike because it's E. I don't want a bike. So throttle only over here, guys. That's how I roll. Now this thing is claiming like 28 to 35 miles on pure throttle, which I don't actually know what the maximum is because I'm too scared to do it myself, because then I don't want to have to call somebody to come get me because I stranded myself because I don't want to pedal back, and I basically forget that it's a bike because the power's gone and then I'm crying all the way home. But what I can say is that I went on an adventure to the local speed track, biked all the way there, and spent roughly about 8 miles, give or take some change, on the road. Actually, at night, somewhat scary. Totally didn't almost die. But when I got back, I had more than half of my battery left. So even though I'm scared to take it out for a 35-mile hike, I can say that it made the 8 miles, let's just round up to 20, without going half. Okay, I'm sorry. I can say that it went to 8 miles without taking a full half of the battery. So there's that. And that was like 95% throttle. I mean, I helped it a little bit, but for the most part, this bike has enough torque to pull me up a hill. I mean, I took it over to the BMX track and I was almost able to get up to the biggest part of the hill without actually having to help it, which is a stupid incline. I mean, it's It's like this. There's no reason to expect an e-bike to be able to do that, but it almost did. Now, it still has the 26-inch wheels like the fat tire bike does, but they're only like the little 2-inch wheels, so it's a lot more pleasant for me to ride. With the whole fat wheel thing, I just feel awkward trying to turn on concrete, so that's probably another reason why I didn't like that other bike. But like I mentioned before, the shocks on this one, definitely not an off-roading bike. Like, you could feel it if you're going into, let's say, a concrete curb like that goes up into a driveway. If you're going too fast, you can feel it. Although you kind of learn how that goes and you kind of go with it. You lift up, maybe do a little wheelie, right? You kind of prepare for that. But the shocks, they're definitely not off-roading shocks. But as impressed as I am with this bike, there are a few flaws that some would probably say it's a bonus, but I consider it kind of a flaw, mainly because I almost ate dirt, or rather asphalt, when I was on the BMX track trying to get myself turned around. And that is the pedal assist, which, again, a lot of people be like, hooray, pedal assist. But if you're like me, you got it set on number 5 and you're going to turn around, you kind of sort of have to make sure, because that pedal assist will kick in with like half a revolution of your pedals, if not less. It'll just kind of kick in and it will just yeet you into whatever you are aimed at. You can hit a wall or a curb or a car. So just be careful. I understand that pedal assist being sensitive is a good thing, so it's hard for me to say that this is a bad feature, but after it almost sent me off the top of a BMX hill, I started to kind of sort of wish that it was not as sensitive, or I could have turned it down to a lower number instead of just 5. But I don't know how to do that. Even though it has a screen and you can just hit the buttons, I don't actually think mine works. Totally doesn't work. 5 is all it does. Anyway, all of this wrapped into a $500 or a $600 bike. I have the speed, I have the torque, and based off of this versus the $800 or $900, I think it was like $800. The fat tire bike had a 500 watt motor. This has a 350 that only peaks to 500. And while you can notice a difference in the performance as you ride it and the motor heats up, it still has enough torque to send you into a wall if you're not aiming it correctly. Well, guys, if you have any questions about this bike, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below. As always, thank you to Oraimo Monster people for sending me this e-bike for review. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day.